Now, box is laying for a month without any activity, and looking for my scissors because this is the wood which I prepared earlier. It's been in the house in warm places, but I tied it all up with string in case any bits got lost. I'm going to work through the list. As I say, all these parts are numbered. This is the seat here. The first thing I like to make, because it's easy, is the front leg section. And these are lying here. I will square them, cut them to length, and mortise and tenon them before I do anything else. It just gets the process going. So, I'm starting off with one of the legs. First of all, I want to put a face and an edge on it. That's going to be the face, that's going to be the edge. I'm going to mark them to make sure I don't muddle them up. Check it for square, and it's looking reasonably okay. I could take a wee bit of that far end there. I'm using the triplane because I'm on to final finishes here. Now, that's face and edge. I've lost that marking. I want to make it parallel now and flat, but I know that I'm going to be removing an angle of a slight amount, a tapering amount off the inside of the leg. These are going to remain flat and straight. I'm going to cut off the end of the cobweb here, yes. I'm going to take the end off of here, and I'm going to use a fine saw so that I get a nice clean edge to work with. So we've got pretty well the stock of tools that are needed for this phase of the job, a ruler, and I've got a couple of gauges which I can set to the different sizes that I'll be working with. I've got two planes, the triplane, and for roughing down I've got this jack plane that's been, let's say, been changed, and these are the bits of the legs, the top rail and the bottom rail. I think I've got to say that I've maybe taken them a wee bit close to the edge because I'm short of a millimetre here and there, but I'll just work around that. Having made that admission, I will just proceed as though nothing had happened. But this is the problem with wood. It had to shrink, and it's shrunk a little bit more than I'd expected. This piece was cross-grained and difficult on this edge. It's proving to be, I've written on it when I roughed these out, cross-grained, watch it, in other words. I think what I have to do now is, I've removed a bump in the middle. It's not straight, but it's a bit straighter. I've removed the bump in the middle, but I don't want to go too far thinning this down. What I do want to do is find out what the accurate length is, and from here it's 430, and then cut it to length. There's no point in struggling with bits that are going to get cut off anyway. I don't know if this is okay. It's just over 430 anyway, so there's no point in worrying too much about that. It's meant to be 70 high. Well, I'm down to 75 there, 74. So I know I've got a wee bit to take off here. still see that bend there, so it's not going to just go away itself, I don't think. So I'm just going to have to try and remove this with a smoothing plane. This is quite a nice one. This is Mr. Hogg's one, I think. Now, take this and press this down a bit more. So this end vise gives you a bit more control. Very useful thing when you're doing beading and jobs like that. This end, and then I'll test it and see how I'm doing for thickness. 18 mils, what I'm aiming for, according to this, and I'm not far off it now. It seemed to be okay. It's quite a nifty little design, this drill bit. So this makes mortising a lot easier. In fact, the modern mortising machine is simply a machine that's based on a drill and a chisel. It is a bit quicker than this, but this is more fun. It'll maybe do there. Relatively quick, quite pleasant work when the wind's blowing and the sun's shining. That'll do you. Plenty of glue into these joints because you don't get a second chance at this. If you don't see glue coming out of a joint, I feel that, well, it depends on the shape of the joint, but you want to see a bit of glue coming out because it means that you've managed to glue it up properly. If you don't see any glue there at all, there's a slight suspicion that you haven't got enough. And that is far worse, in my book, than having too much glue. I'm going to put some onto this shoulder here, quite like having a bit of glue there. Again, it doesn't do any harm having too much, and away we go. It together, shouldn't need mallets and things like that. Put it in here, and I've got packers. I'm going to put the packers in line with the joint.